Welcome to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, brought to you by Pilma. This podcast helps lead lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Here is your legal marketing expert and host, Ken Hardison.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Ken Hardison, and welcome to another episode of Grow Your Law Firm. And today we have the pleasure and honor of having Dirk Derrick from Horry County, who is a practicing lawyer and very well known down in the eastern South Carolina, probably all over South Carolina. Good to have you with us today, Dirk.
Good to be here.
Yeah. So I was talking to him before. I lived in Myrtle Beach 15 years, and I've seen his signs and different things, billboards. And the thing that got me was that you had so many thousand five-star Google reviews. And I'd like to really know how you got so many reviews, but I also want to know about, you were telling me before that you've increased your average fee from 15,000 to 30, or like 14,000 to 35,000 in like 5 or 6 years.
Yep. I got first 30 years I practiced kind of like everybody else practices. Kind of live in this insurance matrix where we valued cases based on what insurance companies wanted to pay. And,
Right.
and we would compare ourselves to other settlements and kind of what they will voluntarily pay. And I always felt like they had the leverage on me and my clients as far as the leverage of uncertainty if you go forward with the case, the leverage of time. If they can drag you out, your clients will take less money. The leverage of money, your client needs money, you need money to run a practice. And really got tired of it, actually. And then in 2018, I was building an office. And I'd always focus group some big cases before trial, but I said, I'm going to put a courtroom in there and I'm going to start focus grouping cases. And I'm going to find out what the dang value of these cases are instead of listening to insurance companies. And so we started doing it. I've now had 20,000 people across the state of South Carolina sign up for our service. They give me 107 data points with their demographics, life experiences, and beliefs. I've run 7,000 through the focus groups. We've graded them. We got the data on them. I think I've watched 850 juries over the last 6 years. And we have determined, and now we use the data in building cases the right way, in the way that the jury wants to see it, not like what we think is important, but what the jury thinks is important. We use the data to evaluate our cases. We use the data to pick the best jurors for a particular case, and especially if the case is about liability or the case is about actuals or the case is about punitives, of course, different jurors are better on each of those issues. And then we pick the case. We use the data on the presentation models we practice with in our focus groups to see what type of jurors respond to certain types of evidence and presentation models. So we started doing it 6 years ago. It's kind of snowballed. We now have a courtroom here in Conway, Myrtle Beach, North Charleston, Columbia, Greenville, and we're building one in Florence. And it's just, we always did focus groups for ourselves to find out what the jury thought about a case right before we tried it. What we do now, we get the data and we get video and audio tapes of everything, and we actually share the information with the insurance companies to get them to pay the full value faster. So we're determining what the real value is, and then we're using the leverage of the truth of the value to get the insurance companies to pay it faster.
Okay. And so it was, I guess this is just works for South Carolina cases, right? Or different counties, or is it different in different counties or different?
No, we started in South Carolina, and we've helped a lot of South Carolina lawyers now on their cases, but we're doing it nationwide. I did one in the state of Washington. I did one in Philadelphia. They can present from their office. We will have a Myrtle Beach or a South Carolina jury for them to watch deliberations and find out what rabbit holes the bad jurors are going to try to drag the good jurors down. But we also send it back out virtually to 50 or 100 people in the county that the case is pending in whatever state it's pending. So we'll drop in advertisement like we did it in Washington. We dropped in advertisement, got 100 people signed up. He presented, Myrtle Beach people deliberated it, but had 100 opinions in the county that the case was pending. And then we give them an AI-generated report that has everything in it, all the numbers, all the charts, the 10 or 12 most important things to make the plaintiff's case better, 10 or 12 things to make the defense case better, what evidence they didn't see that they want to see, just everything important about it.
And so how do you do this on every case, or what's your litmus test? Like what's your criteria, your point?
We do it on every case that involves permanent injuries of any nature or a chance of punitive damages, even if it's a statutory violation, unless the insurance companies pay us all the money. So they pay us all the money. Our lawyers don't have authorization to negotiate for less than policy limits if it's a punitive or permanent case without focusing it and finding out what the jury thinks about it. And we have found out that living in that insurance matrix where you're basing your case on what the insurance companies will voluntarily pay you. I mean, our average case was 42,000 6 years ago, and now our average case last year was 105,000. It's just has nothing to do with the value of the case. So that's our model, and finding out what the truth is and then leveraging it, not just finding out and riding it out all the way through trial, but we leverage it. If we find out before litigation that the case is worth more than policy limits, we'll send it to the insurance company, tell them to pay us. If they don't, we send it to the at-fault party and say, just FYI, we focused this case already. It's worth more than your policy limits, but your insurance company doesn't want to pay us. And we apply some pressure there.
Smart. So have you formed a new company, or is it still with your law firm? Are you helping other lawyers to do this?
No, I'm doing all the outside attorneys right now. Our partners do help me with the in-house, but it's within the law firm. I have some shareholders that came in this year, and they've helped me build it. They've helped me collect the data, and I didn't want to separate it.
So how did you get, how many Google reviews have you got, 5-star reviews?
I think we're at 5,300.
How do you get so damn many?
We prioritize building relationships. Our lawyers don't have about 40 cases each. They get assigned a case when it comes in, and they talk to the client within 24 hours, and they start building relationships. Because everybody in our world, everybody I've ever represented, they want the real value. They want it as that fast as possible. They want to be treated with respect, and they want a relationship with a lawyer. And most people would tell you you can't run that model. You can't make money on that model. And you can if you take what the insurance company wants to pay you. But if you build relationships and build fans from day one by being honest with them and being respectful to them, the people who go online and leave you reviews are fans. They aren't people that just satisfied. They're fans. And to me, that's as important as anything we do. I mean, for my reputation, we don't turn down small cases. I know some people turn down small cases. I'll take a small case and lose money on it if I can build a fan for life. And you have to do it by putting manpower behind it. When we do cases, our attorney will have a team of 7 paralegals. Those paralegals don't work just for that one lawyer, but we have an investigative paralegal, a records and bills, insurance and liens. We have a medical liaison paralegal that talk to the clients every 2 weeks to keep them up to date on what's going on. Our lawyers talk to our clients every 30 days to tell them what they did the last 30 days and what they're going to do the next 30 days. So it's from day one. It's not getting at the end of a case and then begging somebody to go leave you a 5-star review. It's really customer-centered practice. It's actually trying to treat them the way you want to be treated, or the way you want your grandmama treated if she goes to a law office.
Yeah, I used to tell my people, put grandma at the end of every sentence you ask every time you talk to one of our clients. You wouldn't talk to your grandmama that way, don't talk to us that way.
That's right. And if you I like people. And if you actually enjoy meeting people and knowing people and developing relationships with people, I mean, they appreciate that. I mean, they got other places they go in life where people treat them like a number. And our thing is they're not a number. We don't treat them like people.
So how many lawyers do you have with your firm now, Dirk?
I think I just hired number 32 yesterday. I think number 32 started yesterday. So we've been blessed beyond what I could ever imagine. But it's been kind of a snowball. And I mean, I add people by necessity so that my lawyers don't get too many cases and don't mess up the formula. But it's not like I've just gone out and try to hire a bunch of lawyers to hire a bunch of lawyers.
Right. So are you doing this you say you did this for Washington. So if somebody wants to get up with you to see about, I guess, do you hire out your this methodology of figuring out what a case is worth?
Yep, we do it 2 ways. Right now, most lawyers are still doing it the way I used to do it, where I'd focus it right before I go to trial. because, you know, it's on the roster now. Now I want to know what the value is. And they've done that. I mean, we've had some that did it and got turned zero offer to a $30 million verdict, a zero offer to 16 million, a zero offer to 21 million. So they come in and they learn what that particular jury wants to hear about that particular case.
Right.
And we also do it on an association basis where a lawyer can get the best offer they can. They go find out what the insurance company wants to pay them. And if they will let me know the facts of the case, I'll tell them whether or not I'll work on a contingency fee from that point forward on how much value I can add to their case. They have nothing to lose.
That's
but
fair.
I know there's a lot of lawyers, and I did it for 30 years, that settled $700,000 cases for $250 because we didn't know any better. And the higher the number gets, the more money can be left on the table, because, you know, you get somebody and they offer $1.5 million or $2 million to somebody who's never seen that kind of money. And, you know, they get nervous and they look at the lawyer and says, hey, is that a good offer? And if your response is, well, it's a lot of money, you don't know what a jury's going to do, that doesn't instill a whole lot of confidence. If I can show them, hey, I focused this in front of 200 people over 3 different focus groups.
Right.
On your worst day, it's 2 million. On your best day, it's 8 million. But everybody's falling within $5 and $6 million. You empower your client to let you go get the bigger money, and that's where we increase value at every stage. I think there's leverages you can apply across the board on the small cases. The Progressives and the Allstates, they like to offer you meds plus $1,000 and then say, you know, the case, they thinking the case is worth $5,000 more, but you're really going to spend your time to go get that $5,000. And we file suit. And my thing is, piss on that. Are you really going to pay somebody a $5,000 flat fee to go fight me and spend money for this money I'm going to get? And it's going to cost me a while, but sooner or later we'll get an asterisk by our name. If you don't pay what, and you know, you take a $10,000 small case and turn it to a $15,000, and you do that across the board with 30 lawyers, it adds up. That's how we leverage the defense costs on the small cases. On anything with permanent impunitives, we focus it. And 99% of the time, we share it with everybody involved. We're trying to show them what the real value is so that everybody knows. We use the leverage of bad faith because, you know, for 30 years, they said, Dirk, we're not acting in bad faith. We just disagree with what 12 people would do with this case. Well, if I can show them what 112 people said about this case, they don't have very much of an argument not to pay me my money. So that's helped us change the values. But when I go back and look over the first 30 years and the leverage they had on me and had on my client, I wish I'd have started doing this years ago. But you had to be you got to get to a certain place in your growth to have the ability to do it.
What do you think is the biggest challenge of having, you know, because evidently, I mean, at one time you had 16 lawyers, now you got 32, so you got twice as many as you had.
Yeah.
Either 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, I don't know how long. What's the biggest challenge of that as you keep doubling it up?
I think to make sure everybody's on the same page and make sure that a client, no matter where they walk into a Derrick Law Firm office, gets the same representation. We've got 10 partners now, and we've potted them up with 2 or 3 lawyers each. So we have an on board, and people have to come in, learn how we do things because it's different. I mean, it's not, I don't think anyone kind of does our model the way we build cases and build relationships and that kind of stuff. So they got to, you know, they all come in from different places. They either coming from the defense side, and you have to slap out that insurance value out of their head over and over and over, or they come in from a plaintiff side where they've handled 250 cases at one time and put out fires. So they all come in from different places. It's just getting them on board and letting them understand the process.
At our mastermind, we got a guy that came in and he showed us just what you're saying is that I think his number was like 50. He said you would think that it would be you wouldn't make as much money, but we actually make more because our average fee goes up. And he said the fastest way to grow your law firm, you know, you can sign up more cases, but really if you can double the average fee, that's the easiest way to do it, the quickest way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all about the average fee amount and the time it takes you to finish the case.
Time on desk. Yeah, time on desk.
We started this year out and said every case that comes in our office is going to be gone in 2 years, even if you have to try it. So at the 180-day mark, we need to either have enough facts in the office to get all the money, or we're filing the lawsuit. If there's anything, you can look. We now know we got 7,000 opinions as far as what they want to see on particular types of cases. So we know what adds value and what they want to see. And you know whether or not you can get it without litigation. If you can't get it without litigation, file on day 3. Go get those facts. And it's about.
I think the bigger cases you got to. I don't think they're ever going to pay you till they get to depose the plaintiffs and doctors and all that. I don't.
Yeah. And on the smaller cases, I mean, if somebody gets rear-ended and you don't know if the person was on the phone, I can tell you the difference in the value of that case if you can prove he was texting or on the phone from our focus group. I mean, you don't jump way up in value if you can show that. And if they won't give you the cell records and you don't have anybody to testify that he was on the phone, he just runs in the back of somebody. The only way you're going to determine the real value of that case is to go find out if you can prove he was on the phone. Because if you can, you don't double or triple the value of the case. And so we tell the clients, we're going to go look. If it's not there, it's not there. We'll settle the case then. It may take you another 100 days, but the client knows you went and looked.
I think that's smart. So what percentage of your cases do you know are in actually litigation? Because I'm seeing more and more the good firms, they got more and more going into litigation, and they're getting getting better value too when they do that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but we got a lot in litigation. We got 25 personal injury lawyers. They probably got average 20 in litigation each, 25 out of the 40 of their caseload. They keep about 2/3 of their cases in litigation.
Yeah. And see, there used to be, the norm was 1/3 in litigation, or 20% litigation, 80% out.
Yeah.
But I see the firms that are doing what you're doing, they're getting better value because the insurance companies know that they're going to court, and they just.
Plus, I mean, my message to my lawyers are, you are not appraisers. We pay appraisers to come here and appraise cases. You are investigators and presenters. So you need to be the best investigator in the world as finding all the facts about this case as fast as possible. And then you need to become a trial lawyer and learn how to present cases and present in focus group. Most time our attorneys have to present both sides, the plaintiff and the defense. And it makes them learn, what the defense is going to do. And the focus group grades them on both sides. I make them grade them, their authenticity, their effort, their likability on both sides to make sure they give an even arguments from both sides. Because it's no good if you stack your case. I mean, you don't want to do that. You stack the case and now the client thinks they got $1 million case and they don't. So you got to give a legitimate argument. The groups don't know who we represent. They don't know if it's one of our cases or outside case. They're told how important it is and that it will have an effect on everybody involved in the case, and that 95% of the time it's shared with everybody just to show everybody involved with the case what a jury would do with this case. So, it's good data in, good data out. You can't, when I started doing it, the insurance companies were like, well, we don't know what this is. We don't know what this is, who you got doing this. But now it's kind of, we've had enough success ourselves and other lawyers using us that it's respected. Mediators are calling me now to talk about what the focus group did on outside attorneys' cases.
So if somebody wants to find out more about this, Dirk, how can they do that? They
can contact me at 843-248-7486. My cell is 843-421-1257. They can go to the DerrickLawFirm.com and sign up if they're a plaintiff's lawyer for the Appraisers Podcast. That's a closed podcast just for plaintiff's lawyers. And what it is, people who come in and do focus groups with us and learn the truth and how they leverage the truth in their case to get an outcome for their client. And
that's great, man. That's great. I love it. I love it. It's good work. It really is.
I appreciate it.
All right. Anything else that I didn't ask you or I should ask you, or anything you want to share before we call it a day?
No, I'll just encourage people to escape the insurance matrix. There's money out there People can do their own focus groups, learn how to do it. If you want us to help you, we'll help you. But there's money out there for our clients that I didn't know until the last 6 years.
Until next time, this is Ken Hardison, dedicated to your success. Thank you, Dirk.
You have been listening to the Grow Your Law Firm podcast, the podcast that leads lawyers to more growth, profit, and freedom. Go to growyourlawfirm.com to find more ways to market and manage your law firm. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.